Hello, all my happy friends and frogs. How's everyone doing today? Happy Tuesday. Today is March 10th. It is the 69th day of the year. I'm Cassie. You reached Cassie's Corner. I am. Ooh, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave me comments just to let YouTube know that I fit in their algorithm and they'll recommend my videos a little bit more. And I would really, really love to be able to reach more people that are depressive, um, are anxious, or have mood kind of swings or whatever, so they can have a way to control their behavior. And this, we do it by the Daily Stoic. And this is a book that I read from. It's a journal from January the 1st, and now we're up at March 10th. And I'm going to read in just a minute today's lesson or today's entry, so that way. Um, and I give tips and tricks and lessons, maybe little hints to help deal with certain depressive behaviors. A lot of it can do with anger. A lot of it can be. I used to pitch a lot of fits. I used to get really mad all the time, and now one of my daughters thinks that it's okay to have fits and to yell and scream at people, and it's not okay. It is not okay. It is not how life is supposed to be. I did it because I was sick, and I'm not saying that she's not sick. I really wish she would get some help somewhere because I really don't appreciate how she treats some people, but that's another time, another story. Anyway, I had someone send me a message a couple of days ago, and I cannot find that message, and it's bothering me because I'm wondering what the message asked because they asked me to rescind my reply. And I'm like, I can't find the message to reply. So your messages do mean a whole lot to me. And it's like I said, it is really on my brain about this message. I'm curious as to what they asked or what they needed. Um, I do have an email. It's Cassie's underscore corner at outlook.com. I try to check it every day. And I have facebook.com/ bows of happiness. You will see me there. It says Cassie's period corner. I have no idea where the period come from, and I can't get rid of it. I don't think it's going to let me change my name anymore. So there's that. Um, but there I just show little memes or whatever to help support what I say here. Little positive memes, things that maybe can just slap your brain into believing that you are worth something, that you are important, you are, how to, but just tips and tricks on how to live your life and to be the happiest, peaceful person you can be. We do this by the Daily Stoic. This is the most effective way that I have found from a person that was depressed for 20 to 15 years to hold myself accountable and to realize that I can't be mad over something I can't control. It is very, very stern about the things that someone cannot control. Why are you getting mad over something you can't control? Why are you having a fit and wasting energy and punching the steering wheel when traffic is bad and you weren't the person that put the traffic there? Traffic happens. Why not leave 20 to 30 minutes, earlier? If you're leaving from work, well, that can't happen. You're going to get home safely, I hope, when you get home. And I understand that maybe you have a child that needs you, or, just call somebody and try to uh, think of the calmest way you can to deal with that situation so that you don't put yourself in a frenzy. It really is not necessary to be any kind of frenzy. Sometimes it can even be a person. Like I had noticed that even now, like I said, depression is always going to be part of my mentality. So I'm always going to try to revert back to what was comfortable for so many years, but I have to guard against that. And sometimes it could be a person, and it's like that person is going to show up, but the minute they show your face, it's like you automatically want to blame them from everything, whether or not what you're blaming them is true or not, but because you don't like them or because, you don't respect them like you're supposed to, you're always going to feel that way about a certain person. And I'm that way with a few people. but I have to realize that they're human too, and that I can't hold um, negative stuff against them if it's not true. If it's just my thought. I have to control my behavior. I have to control my thinking. I have to control the way I feel about certain people. Even if it's just for a day, just spend with them. Okay, just put that aside. I'm not the one that can fake liking somebody. That I cannot do. If I don't like you, you will know. um, because it's not my makeup. But anyway, our day today is 69, day 69. And it says, find yourself a CATO. What is a CATO? CATO. What is a CATO? We'll find out. Okay, we can remove most sins if we have a witness standing by as we are about to go wrong. The soul should have someone it can respect, by whose example it can make its inner sanctum more inviolable. Inviolable? Is that a word? I don't know how to say that. Happy is the person who can improve others, not only when present, but even when even when in their thoughts. And Seneca said that in his Moral Letters. That is Moral Letters 11.9. Cato the Younger, a Roman politician best known for his self-discipline and for his heroic defense against the Republic against Julius Caesar, appears constantly throughout Stoic literature. Which is interesting because he didn't write anything down. He taught no classes. He gave no interviews. His bold and brave example is what made him such a commonly cited and quoted philosopher. Seneca tells us that we should each have our own Cato, a great and noble person we can allow into our minds and use to guide our actions, even when they're not physically present. The economist Adam Smith had a similar concept, which he called the indifferent spectator. It doesn't have to be an actual person, just someone who, like Seneca said, can stand witness to our behavior. Someone who can quietly admonish us if we are considering doing something lazy, dishonest, or selfish. If we do it right and live our lives in such a way, perhaps we can serve as someone else's Cato or indifferent spectator when they need it. I think this is very powerful. I think this is just in the way of the Stoic behavior. It doesn't have to be an actual person, just like Seneca said. It can be someone we once knew. It can be an imaginative. Where am I going with this? An imaginative person. It can be someone that we feel like their behavior is more like how we want to be, and this person can hold you accountable. I don't want to can hold you accountable. Yeah, to your thoughts, to your laziness, to your selfishness, to your uh, crazy ideas. Like when you're thinking of an idea or you're trying to think through something, you think of the craziest way. What would so and so feel? It could be a lot of people cherish maybe Helen Keller or the Brontes or things like that. What would they think? A poet maybe. What would they think if I did this? What would they say? And I'm not saying to let that person rule you. I'm not trying to ask you to emulate that person. Just let that person hold you accountable to all the negative behavior that you may impose on yourself. Is this really what I want to do? Is Cato approving of my situation? Does Cato think this true? This is a good way for me to perform. It is just a very good way to hold yourself, if through another person, accountable for the things you do and the things. Again, I'll say it again: depressive behaviors. When I was a depressed person, I know I was depressed. I know I was absolutely out of my mind, depressed, in a deep, dark depression for 20 to 15 years. But it's also something I put myself through. It is how I behaved. I had to wake up every day and until I figured it out, up until I figured out that these are my behaviors, these are my thoughts, these are, this is how I behave. You know what I mean? I'm responsible for what's going on in my head. I'm responsible for what's going on in my mentality. I'm responsible for the behavior I throw out. So I kind of did it to myself. And this is true for everybody that is depressed. You have to take hold of your accountability. You have to hold yourself accountable for the things you think. You have to hold yourself accountable for the way you behave. It's harder said than done. It is very hard mental work. It takes a very long time. It took me 6 years for my first real compliment to myself till today. And I still have problems. I mean, I'm always going to have problems with it because I'm always going to want to revert to what was most comfortable for me. And that could be laying in bed, blaming everybody else for what I'm going through when I know deep down that I'm the reason I'm going through this crazy stuff. I think what I think, you know? If I think about the past and the things that hurt me in the past, then yeah, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. So I don't think about the things that are in the past. I can sit here and tell you what has happened, but it doesn't affect me like it used to because I don't dwell on it. And I'm not going to live it over and over and over. It happened once and I have to let it go. But I can tell you about it. Sometimes I do catch myself in a crying mode. I haven't lately. It's been a long time since I've been crying. But sometimes I catch myself in a crying situation, and I guess I'm lingering in those thoughts, and I shouldn't. I shouldn't. I shouldn't let things of yesterday bother me. Whatever happened yesterday happened yesterday. What's going to better myself is what's going to happen today. So I have to keep myself aware of what I'm doing today. Otherwise, I'm going to go crazy again, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to live my life that again. I don't want to live my life with limits, without hope, without any joy, without any control. That is just not me. And to lay there for the better part of 20 years is my own fault. It really is. So I'm going to find myself a CATO. I didn't realize that I could do this, but I needed a CATO yesterday. Yesterday I was really, really lazy, but I have a funny story about that. I knew that rain was coming in. Rain was expected later, is what the weather kept saying. Rain expected later. Okay, so I was asleep, and everybody knows that I take Ambien. So I was asleep. I was in one of those situations where nothing was going to wake me up, but I would hear thunder, I would think. Thunder and clashing and things like that. And I could feel my body kind of in slow motion, kind of come up off the bed, and it would land back on the bed. And then my ribs would hurt for some reason, I guess for jumping up like that or whatever. I'm thinking that it would really thunder outside, and my body was reacting to the thunder, but I couldn't wake up. I couldn't wake up to understand that it was thundering and lightning or whatever outside. So I was thinking of maybe the noise was my spouse, maybe snoring, like, and I was like, quit it, just stop with the noise. I don't know, in my brain, like, stop trying to wake me up. I can't believe. But yeah, that was going on last time. I think it did. I mean, rain is on the ground. You know, it's wet and we have puddles and things like that. So I can assume only. Yeah, it was thunder and lightning, scaring the crap out of me in my sleep, and I couldn't wake up enough to grasp the situation. But I do remember just slowly coming up off the bed and then landing back down, and it kind of hurting my ribs, my stomach, something. Funny stuff, guys. Funny stuff. The things my brain goes through when I'm sleeping. Um, I just think yesterday I just really had no motive. I mean, I was just really out of it. I did get some mopping and done, and some clothes and some dishes done. I did get all that done, all that I needed to get done. So, but other than that, I wasn't doing nothing. Just really lazy, really unmotivated, really no energy, no nothing like that. Find yourself a CATO. Find somebody to help you hold yourself accountable. This person is not to be blamed for anything you've done wrong. Anything that you do wrong, anything that you think, anything of your behavior, it is you. It is on you. You're at the steering wheel. Remember the car, little metaphor or whatever? You're at the steering wheel. This is your motherboard. Remember that metaphor, the computer. This is your motherboard that you're dealing with. Nobody is responsible for your behavior. But this person, whether it be a real person or whether it be an imaginative person, a person whose behavior is model-esque and somebody you want to thrive to be, they can help hold yourself accountable for the things you do. If you're going to be sad, there's that accountability. I cannot be sad because so and so wouldn't do that. So I'm going to do my best to realign my behavior with the way that they would think. I'm not saying copy anybody either, because we don't want to copy anybody. We want to be ourselves. But yourself is not a depressed person. I'm not saying you're not depressed. Please do not take that wrong. You are a depressed person. If you have been dealing with depressive behaviors, you are a depressed person. I'm not saying that at all. It's just, what are you really depressed about? It's just something to think about. Okay. I hope everybody has a wonderful work week. Have you written in your journals? It's wise to keep them for about 6 months to a year. Your morning journal will be what you want to accomplish, whether it's to appreciate somebody, whether it's to be nice to somebody, to make sure you smile, or it could be like your daily errands, your daily things that you want to do. It's very important that you keep these journals. It's only a suggestion, but I think it's important, so that way you have a record of your behavior in the future for what triggered you or what did not. And then at night you talk about what triggered you, whether it was a situation or a person, or whatever made you mad and why it made you mad, and how you can better react to it in the future. It's always nice to think of something that you will react to in a future situation, so that way you know not to fly off the handle at everything. I used to scream and yell and cry about every little thing, and it wasn't always the best way to handle situations. It just made things worse. It made things a whole lot worse. Write your gratitude journal. Keep a running list. You'll see how silly things that you are grateful for if you really dive into your mind and think about it. I'm grateful for the air. I'm grateful for trees and flowers and bees and flies. No, not so much. Spiders. No, not so. Spiders sort of, because they do eat other smaller bugs. So kind of. I'm not really. I don't know. I'm just thankful that the world is here. I'm thankful that we're able to experience this life. I'm grateful that there is a way that I can be happy and peaceful in my life. That I do have the tenacity to give the hard work, to think better than what I did 6 years ago. Again, I do have journals that for 2024 that would say, okay, crying this day. And I'm assuming that I cried off and on. And I had days like that where I would cry. I would just be really, really sad for no reason. She's growling. I'm assuming somebody's here. What else I was going to say? Find somebody you appreciate. Thank them, especially like a maid, maintenance guy, maintenance person, any kind of thing like that. They do a terrific job in keeping things clean after multiple people, hundreds of people in hotels, restaurants, public places, things like that. It's a job nobody wants to do. Nobody wants to clean a toilet. Nobody wants to sweep up after people being nasty. Restaurant people, people that clean up after restaurants. I watch them. I'm the person that I still, even though I'm at a restaurant and I know it's their job to clean, that is how they get their money. But I still, because they're my dishes, that I ate off of. I came in there voluntarily and I ate. So I still stack up my dishes and keep everything neat and nice. My husband's always it's their job to clean this up. Yes, but if they clean up less after me, they can spend time somewhere else cleaning and getting their job done. There's a lot that needs to be done in an 8-hour job, and sometimes you can't get it all done because people want to make an unnecessary mess. And I don't like watching people like that just have napkins all over the floor, food all over the floor. I mean, you can't really bend down if you're eating and pick up something off the floor, but you can pick up a napkin. You can not allow your child to be as nasty as he wants to be. You can, stack up your dishes. If you were home, you would have to clean up your dishes anyway. So why not clean up after yourself when you're somewhere else? That's just how I feel. And like going in a clothing store, whether it be Belk, any kind of store like that, if you don't know how to fold the clothes the way that they fold them, don't touch those clothes. That's just how I feel. Just don't touch them. I remember in the place I worked, I had a whole wall of like novelty t-shirts and things like that. And I would have to fold them. And I got all of what, I mean, it's like 5 or 6 shelves of folding t-shirts. And I was down to the last 2 or 3 piles of cleaning t-shirts. And this woman would just come and look at the shirt and crumble it up and move to the next one. Hold up the shirt, crumble it up, and I'm like, lady, you see me here. I'm just fixed all that. Why are you crumpling up the t-shirt? What are you doing? She was just being a pain. Just holding the t-shirt up, crumbling it, hold the t-shirt up, crumble it up. I mean, that's not, if you don't know how to fold it the way it's folded, don't worry about it. We had pictures of all the t-shirts, so there was nothing for her to look at. Just saying, the pictures were back on the back wall. She didn't have to pick up the shirt and look at them; they were already there. It's weird. It's weird how people look at the shirt and crumble it up and put it back where it's. I mean, you're just causing more work for somebody. I realize once again that is going to happen. People do, that's their job, but don't make it worse. I mean, jeez, people make me mad. But anyway, I digress. Find you a CATO. Let's find a CATO together if you want to. How would they behave? How would they feel if I did this? Or how would they, what would they say to me if I did that? And try to keep yourself accountable for your own behavior. You will be so much more happy for it, I promise. Once you realize the things you can't control, again, keep that running list of things you can control, things you can't. It's simple. It is very, very simple. It's hard mentality work, but it can be done. You're looking at somebody who was desperately sad. I mean, to the point where I thought I was just going to go mad. I was always crying, always upset, always screaming, always yelling. Nothing made me happy. Nothing made me happy. I mean, I could get like a gift and I'd be like, oh, okay. Y'all have a wonderful day. I hope the rest of your work week is wonderful. I'm really upset about that message. I am so, so sorry. Your messages mean the world to me. You can reach me at Cassie's_corner at outlook.com, or I am on Facebook, Facebook.com/Bows of Happiness. And I'm right there. You'll see my name is Cassie's Corner. I don't know how to get rid of the period, but I'm there. I just show memes and pictures of platitudes and things like that kind of support what I say here. So there is that. You all have a wonderful, wonderful day. I hope the weather is as you like it. If it's not, it's one of the things that you can't control. So what are you going to do? You're just going to deal with it, and you're going to use your best behavior and find happiness in everything that you can experience in life. And that's what we're about. Y'all have a nice day. Bye-bye.